So, hello everyone. Welcome to my presentation. This is the assignment one, Analyze an Industry. So, my name is Lê Hải Sơn, and today I am going to present about the topic of cement is one of the main driver of the greenhouse gas production, but using kaolin could reduce the GHG footprint of cement by 30% or more. So, why isn't kaolin being more widely used in producing clinker for cement? So this is the table of content of this presentation. So we will look at the overview of the cement industry, two business model, the main issues, and the business opportunity and solution. The first one we have the overview of cement industry. So cement production must now operate on a large scale in order to meet the growing demand, which classify the industry as a heavy industry like International Energy Agency 2050 forecast for cement production will reportedly exceeded by global production. So large-scale manufacturing, on the other hand, require enormous amounts of energy, produce industrial solid waste, emit flue gases, and ultimately cause environmental instability. The production process is energy-centric, meaning that between 12% and 15% of all industrial energy is needed for energy consumption. So making up about 8% of all greenhouse gas emission worldwide, the production of cement is a major contributor to these emissions. This is mostly because calcining limestone is a step in the energy-intensive process of making clinker, a crucial component of cement. A significant volume of carbon dioxide are emitted during this process as a result of the chemical reaction as well as the burning fossil. So there has never been a more pressing need to lessen cement's negative environmental effect as urbanization, urbanization and infrastructure development drive up demand for the material. So using kaolin, a naturally occurring clay mineral, is one possible solution, right? So why kaolin is not not used widely worldwide, right? And to look at that, to find out the solution, we will look at the pestle analysis of the cement industry. So here we have six factors. The first one is going to be the political factor. So here we have the regulation and the policy, trade policy, not the tariff, and political stability. So, for example, for the regulation and policy, so the government regulation related to emission, environmental protection, and mining can significantly impact the cement industry. And look at the next one. The next one is the economic factor. So we have economic growth, interest rate, price of the raw materials, and globalization. So, for example, we will look at the globalization. So, the global nature of the semi-industry mean economic condition in major markets like China or India have a significant impact on demand and pricing. The next one we have the social factor. So we have like the urbanization, the customer preferences, and the population growth. So for the population growth, we have like higher population growth rate increase the demand for housing and infrastructure, positively impacting to the semi industry. The next factor, we have the technological factor. So we have the innovation, the automation, and the digitalization, and the stability of researching and developing. So, for example, for the automation and digitalization, so the adoption of automation and digital technologies in manufacturing processes can improve efficiencies and reduce costs. So the next factor is the environmental factor. So we have like the climate change, the environmental regulation, the sustainable practices, and the natural risks. So for the sustainable practices, we have like adoption of sustainable practices such as the use of alternative fuels and raw material, recycling and waste management is becoming increasingly important. For the last one, we have like the legal factor, the law one. So we have like the health and safety regulation, the compliances, and the intellectual property. So with that, we have like for example, for the intellectual property, we have protecting intellectual property related to new technology and processes is important for maintaining competitive advantage. The next one we will look at the portfolios. So the first one we have like the threat of new entrant is low because it requires high capital to enter the market. The second one we have like the power of supplier. So it's high because the number of supplier is in cement industry are limited. The threat of substitutes so is high because there are many alternative materials such as steel, wood, kaolin. The next one we have the power of buyer is high because it gives buyer more chances to negotiate prices. And the last one we have the industry competition. So it's high because it's a lot of big companies fight for their market share in the market. So the next one we will address the main issues. So about the material for making kaolin, right? So mostly the minimum 40% of the kaolin that had practical size are smaller than 2 was acquired from a company in Malaysia. There are a lot of different components to make a perfect combination of kaolin, and it also raised the cost. So the cost of storage and transportation will also significantly raise the price of material. So as a result, there are a lot of different components to make a perfect combination of kaolin. Aside from that, kaolin also requires some other chemical to be a combination. For illustration, the powder sodium hydroxide that was used was 99% poor and was marketed in a company in Taiwan. The next one we will have like the business opportunity and solution of this unusual things, right? So the first one we have like the environmentally and friendly use of cement. The next one is the supplementary cementitious material and the business opportunity. So here is some solution for that. And here we have like the references of my presentation. And yeah, thank you for listening to my presentation.